I don't know about you, but I really feel like going to Disneyland. I think it's just about time for a little more time travel. Back to Disneyland in the 1950s. I'm gonna try this a new way. I've never done it this way, so I hope it works. Let's see if we can get this working. Yes! The flux capacitor is fluxing! Come on, come on! 88 miles per hour! What happened? Did we make it? Oh my gosh, I think we did make it. We did it! We're back in the 1950s. Oh, this is awesome. All we gotta do now is make our way to the park. Whoa! Three-legged race! Watch out! Get out of the way! Oh, good news, guys. I see a bus. The wheels on the bus go... Wait a minute. What the heck is that thing? Oh, no time to check it out. We're already here. Perfect. I'm ready for action. Come on, get off the bus. Get off the bus. Let's go. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Look at it. Disneyland! You can practically see right into the park. There's barely any grass or bushes or anything. Oh man, I am stoked to be out here this early. And whoa, this guy looks pretty stoked too. Hey buddy, this is nuts. Wow, it looks so different. Chain link fence around the park, the parking lot out here, and you'll notice no monorail tracks. Those won't be out here until 1961. Wow, we got here early. All right, through the turnstiles here in 55, you saw there's no Disneyland news agency yet. They're still trying to get the plants to grow here around Floral Mickey, and oh man, you can just smell the new paint on the Disneyland Railroad. It's so weird to see how short the trees are. Wow, looks like it's time for us to head inside the park, and I think we're gonna follow this family over here as they head up through the station for a ride on the Disneyland Railroad. Actually, at the moment, it's called the Santa Fe and Disneyland Railroad because the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway sponsored this bad boy. Now, you can only board these old passenger coaches from Main Street Station. In fact, the only other station in 1955 is the Frontierland station from which you can board this, the freight train. You can see they've still got a long way to go with this landscaping. Good thing there's no city to block out outside yet. All right, let's make our way past the topiaries here and back to Main Street Station. It's amazing that all this rolling stock, all these passenger cars, were scratch built just for Disneyland. And they all had those old Naugahyde or vinyl seats inside like old school buses. Looks like this family here enjoyed their trip around the Magic Kingdom. It's a nice teaser, but now they look ready to head into the park. Ooh, well, that was a close call. All right, now we can step out of the train station and all the way back to 1956. We've arrived on one of those enchanted weekdays after the summer crowds have left when park attendance is less than 5,000 people. Good thing we didn't come on a Monday, though, because Disneyland is closed on Mondays right now. Here comes the old Main Street Fire Wagon, just 10 cents for a ride. Back there you can see the double-decker bus, and Town Square looks huge. I mean, other than the big eucalyptus trees left over from the farms out here, all the trees and everything are so small, it makes the buildings look so big. Oh, I can smell that popcorn. Ooh, it's awfully warm and sunny out here today. Good thing that lady has her souvenir paper sun hat. And if you look back towards Main Street Station, you can see the park is starting to fill up. Whoa, we better watch out behind us, because here comes one of Disneyland's horse-drawn streetcars. A lot of older folks like Walt Disney himself at this time still have memories of these things in actual cities. And speaking of Walt Disney, just think right now Walt Disney could be up in his apartment above the firehouse, and check it out. They still have the original storage locker building, the Beacon's storage lockers. I don't know where the Beacon's wagon is. Wait a minute. Here it comes. Man, I'm glad we got to take a look at this, because in another couple of years, this thing will be gone. Ooh, looks like he's having some trouble with his horses. Guess they've got stage fright today. Beacon's is one of the original Disneyland sponsors, and it took a lot of corporations and their money to help Walt get this place opened up. As a matter of fact, at this time, most of the spaces in Town Square and down Main Street are taken up by people leasing space, like Bank of America and the brick building way back there behind the Surrey. And speaking of the Disneyland Surrey, here it comes now. Look how small those little horses are. It's about to pass by the Wurlitzer Music Hall, where they've got organs and pianos on display. Keep an eye out for patches of dirt. The park isn't fully landscaped yet, but that doesn't mean it's not glorious. Oh, look at that view. Just one more glance around Town Square here, and then I think we'll head down and get a look at Main Street. How amazing is that view? And what an achievement, Walt Disney's small town roots, leading to a physical physical representation of all the fantasy worlds that he created. Speaking of companies, there's the Carnation 3/4 scale truck built to match Main Street right in front of their ice cream parlor, and behind it, the Jams and Jelly store. And if we can avoid the Surrey here, look at that view of the castle. Across the street, you'll see Eastman Kodak and the Gibson greeting card store. Whoa, watch out for the fire wagon. Here at the end of Main Street, you'll see the street signs in front of the Coke refreshment corner. And as the Surrey heads away, you'll get a look at the Candy Palace, and here's something refreshing. It's the Disneyland ice cream cart. Oh, ice cream sounds so good right now. Too bad I filled myself up on popcorn. All right, we've reached Sleeping Beauty Castle. It's only 77 feet tall at the very top, but it looks huge without the trees behind it. And down below in the moat, which you can see is barely landscaped yet, of course, the original Disneyland swans. Wow, I really love the original, more muted colors on this thing. Pretty surprising to come through orange groves and then wind up seeing a castle out here. But what's even more surprising is look to the right. There's no Snow White grotto yet. There's barely even any plants over here. All right, I'd love to visit Fantasyland, but first I think we should visit the original Tomorrowland. Just pass right through the Avenue of the Flags. One flag for each of the 48 states. You know, I hear they're trying to make Alaska or even Hawaii into a state. What are they gonna do, add more stars to the flag? What a silly idea. All right, these kids look pretty excited to enter the world of tomorrow. Wait, what's that? Whoa, time out, because this is cool. Someday the Astro Orbiter will be right here, but for the first 12 years of the park's existence, the symbol at the entrance to Tomorrowland is the world clock, or the clock of the world. This thing tells you what time it is anywhere on the planet, and where the moon is, I think, and where it's dark and where it's light. Pretty freaking sweet. See, look, I got all the information right here in my brand new Disneyland guide. This is pretty exciting. All right, time in. Wow, look at these incredibly futuristic buildings with the fountains in front and everything. On the right as we enter, we have the Monsanto Hall of Chemistry, where, as they say, creative chemistry works wonders for you. Most of the exhibits here in brand new Tomorrowland are like this, kind of corporate advertisements. Like the Kaiser aluminum display just past the Hall of Chemistry, where you can see the giant aluminum telescope. Woo! Other exciting exhibits include the American Dairy Association's Future Techniques in Production and Distribution of Dairy Products, or the Story of Oil diorama. Ooh, and the Dutch Boy Paint exhibit, and this guy without a shirt on. Wait a minute, he shouldn't be here. Get out of here, shirtless guy. Tomorrowland is definitely a work in progress. Over here on the other side, we've got the Circarama sponsored by American Motors, but I can't help it, you guys. Look at Tomorrowland. I have got to get back there and check this out. Oh my gosh, would you look at the size of that rocket ship? The TWA Star of Polaris rocket to the moon. The visual symbol, or weenie as Walt Disney called it, of Tomorrowland. At 80 feet tall, this thing is the tallest thing in the park, taller even than Sleeping Beauty Castle. But I'm kind of more impressed with what's underneath it. It's the Tomorrowland Spaceman, along with the Tomorrowland Space Girl, who I don't see at the moment. He's the mascot for this whole place. Remember, Sputnik isn't going to be launched for another 6 months, and so far only monkeys have been in space, so an astronaut like this is quite literally from the world of the future. Dang, I would love to wear that spacesuit outfit around. Now, his ship, the Moonliner, generously sponsored by Howard Hughes and his Transworld Airlines, is also the symbol for the Rocket to the Moon attraction back there behind it. You could travel to the moon from Disneyland 6 years before JFK was even president, and 14 years and 3 days before Neil Armstrong took one giant leap for mankind. Talk about being forward-thinking. Now, behind the Tomorrowland Spaceman, you can just make out the corner of another big attraction here, Hobbyland. Inside that chain link fence, they do demonstrations of model boats, planes, and RC cars as well. But we'll have to wait till next time to get a closer look, because I got a hankering to hit the road. It's the Richfield Autopia. Now, Jeanette can drive around on a futuristic freeway sponsored by the Richfield Oil Company, who even has a gas station over at the Disneyland Hotel, and will someday become Arco. Imagine if they had a little AM/PM over here on the Autopia. You'll notice that these original Bob Gurr designed Autopia cars have little bumpers around them, but there's no rail, and boy, Oh, those gas fumes smell awesome. The Autopia here at Disneyland is so popular that in 1956 they added a second one, the Junior Autopia in Fantasyland, which sort of has blocks on the pedals so they're easier to reach if you're a little shorter, but otherwise they're pretty much identical. Whoa, look at this. This kid has been driving around a lot of different ladies. Guess it pays to have wheels. Autopia is so popular that after another year or so, they added a third Autopia, the Midget Autopia as it was called. That term back then was commonly used for anything small. It didn't refer to people. It was referring to these very small cars designed by an outside company, Aero Development. As you can see, it didn't start out with a lot of landscaping. Actually, you know what? That Autopia is in Fantasyland, and if we're gonna go to Fantasyland, we might as well step outside and go in the right way. But gosh, we gotta take a second to just appreciate that awesome original Tomorrowland entrance. And look at the hub here. Light crowds, beautiful sunshine. Up, and here comes the red horseless carriage designed by Bob Gurr, passing by the world of the future and leading us towards the Disneyland castle. Look at that. The swans are still here and the landscaping is starting to fill in, but there's still no wishing well. And no Snow White statue, which is really throwing me off. They've just added a walkthrough through the castle, which is pretty exciting. And look up there. It's the Disneyland Skyway. That's how we'll head back to Tomorrowland in a minute. But first, check this out. You can see the entrance to the new castle walkthrough, but look at this guy. We've got a unicycle riding jester, just like the old times. What is that thing? What has he got in his hands? Whoa! You could also see the Tinkerbell toy shop back there, but I think we better keep moving. This area just inside the castle is themed as the Alpine Village. Because of the tight budget building Disneyland, it was sort of the only area of Fantasyland that got the full theming treatment. Whoa, looks pretty packed down here. And part of that is because look how close the carousel is to the castle. Wow! It's no wonder in later years they'll have to move it back, but look at this. It looks so full of activity. Oh, I love the colors back here in Fantasyland. Look at the entrance to Peter Pan back there and the colorful banners. Oh, the ticket booth for the carousel. It's just a fantastic mid-century burst of color. And look at this. Speaking of color, behind little Jimmy, notice that the carousel horses aren't all white yet. People wait extra time just to ride the white ones, so in later years, they'll all become white. Just a few feet to our right is Snow White and Her Adventures, as you can see up there. It's 35 cents or a C coupon from your ticket book to ride this thing, but I hear it's worth it. And on the opposite side of the carousel, another C ticket attraction, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, has really got that medieval jousting tournament design going on. And check out that ticket-taking booth in the middle. You know, I hear on this ride, you actually go to heck at the end, but I'm not sure if I fully believe it. I mean, these people look pretty darn happy. Wouldn't you be sad if you'd just gone to heck? Well, then again, maybe you'd be happy you escaped. And speaking of escape, you'll notice there are no lap bars. This is the era where your lack of common sense is on you, so remain seated, please. All right, stepping out into the open here, we can see the Skyway that we're going to ride in a minute to Tomorrowland. But even better, we get a great overall view of Fantasyland. Look at those colorful umbrellas providing shade, and you can see Mr. Toad's Wild Ride back there, and all the colorful theming, the teacups, and over here, Dumbo the Flying Elephant. And if you look closely, to the right of the colorful information booth, you'll see the Mickey Mouse Club Theater. Now notice over here at Dumbo the Flying Elephant that there's something a little unusual. Look closely where his ear meets his head. You'll see a hinge so that Dumbo can flap his ears and fly away with or without his magic feather. Looks like riding on Dumbo made Jimmy a little thirsty. Check out this old school drinking fountain. I love that striped wall. Behind us in the center of Fantasyland is Captain Hook's Chicken of the Sea pirate ship. But before we go back there, we can't leave Fantasyland without looking at the teacups, which are sitting right in front of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I can't get over the colors here. Everything looks so awesome. Ooh, looks like little Jimmy missed out on a spin, but at least he gets to meet Chip. Okay, that's about all the spinning I can take. I think I just lost my appetite, and that's a shame, because right back there is the Chicken of the Sea pirate ship. If the castle is the symbol of the park, then the massive pirate ship is the symbol of Fantasyland. And to help with the cost of constructing it, it was sponsored by Chicken of the Sea Tuna, which means inside is a restaurant where they serve tuna burgers and hot tuna pie. Ugh. After all that teacup spinning, the last thing I want to think about is hot tuna pie. But look at that thing. Sails billowing in the wind. And a lot of times you can find Peter Pan, Captain Hook, Mr. Smee, and even the crocodile wandering around over here. But wait a minute. What's that I hear behind it? Oh, it's Casey Jr. coming round the track. Casey Jr.'s back. Based on the circus train from the 1941 film Dumbo, a lot of people think this was an opening day attraction at Disneyland, but it actually opened 2 weeks later. Apparently it was due to some mechanical difficulties. He thought he could,
but he couldn't. It's one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. And right behind Casey Jr., of course, is the Storybook Land Canal Boats. Technically, this was here on opening day, but it was known as the Canal Boats of the World, and there was literally no scenery, just dirt on the banks. But about a year later, in 1956, it became the Storybook Land Canal Boats, and destined to become a true classic. All right, high up in the sky above us is the Skyway to Tomorrowland, and that is going to be our next destination. We're going to head back there to that Swiss chalet on the hill you can see the sky buckets leaving from. But real quick, first, just look at this information booth here. I am really digging the signs out front. Thank goodness they told us where the restrooms was, because I got to go. All right, after a heck of a long line, we're up here on the porch of the Swiss chalet, ready to fly across the sky. Oh, just a deep breath, and here we go. Oh my gosh, I forgot that I'm terrified of heights. Oh, won't this thing hold still? Oh wow, look at all that color down there. It's breathtaking, and you know what's awesome? Look how far you can see across the park. The trees are so short, you can see all the way outside of Disneyland and see the borders of Farmer's Field with those big eucalyptus trees back there. Hello ladies, enjoy Fantasyland. Ooh, hey, ahoy down there! Look at the lagoon around the pirate ship. Not very big right now, is it? Look at that walkway back there too. Man, that is awesome. Definitely weird to see how simple all the pavements are here at Disneyland right now. Wait a minute. Hang on. Oh, I hate this part. Okay. Look at Tomorrowland down there. You can see the parking lot and even the fields across the street. Not a lot of development on Harbor Boulevard. Below us is the yacht bar. And if you'll notice, one thing we did not pass by in our sky buckets up here is the Matterhorn. There is no Matterhorn Mountain yet. Just this giant pylon right here, holding up the Skyway cables. Looking towards us from the Tomorrowland side over by Autopia, you can actually see the hill that would someday become the Matterhorn. The yacht bar's on the left, and you can just make out the pirate ship sail behind the hill there. And from the air, take a look at this. That big mound of dirt on the right is the future home of the Matterhorn, seen here in its younger days as the Matter Bump. Wow. All right, thank goodness we're coming in for a landing. Below us is the Autopia, ahead of us Harbor Boulevard and the fields across the street. But I think my favorite is the Skyway sign. Look at all those little whirly things on there. Looking backwards before we land, we get a quick view of the Astro Jets before we finally reach the ground. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's the Disneyland Viewliner, the fastest miniature train in the world. Traveling along the Tomorrowland Lake into Fantasyland, it was modeled on General Motors' Aero Train by Disney Imagineer Bob Gurr to represent rail travel of the future. Of course, by the late 1950s, commercial rail travel doesn't have much of a future, and neither does the Viewliner. But even though it'll be short-lived, I'm glad we got to see it. And wow, they weren't kidding about it being fast. This thing is booking it through Tomorrowland. All right, guys, the Viewliner has to make way for a whole new era, and so do we as we step into the future to summer 1959 and Disneyland's greatest transformation to date. On June 14th, 1959, the brand new Matterhorn Mountain opened to the public with Disneyland's first roller coaster inside, changing the skyline forever. The Viewliner vanished to make room for the new submarine lagoon and its adventure through liquid space, and the first daily operational monorail system in the Western Hemisphere, the Disneyland All-Wag Monorail, began running in Tomorrowland. These new attractions require the all-new E-ticket, 50 cents each, the most expensive rides in the park. But I mean, where else in Southern California can you bobsled down a Swiss mountain, huh? The people in line here have never seen anything like this anywhere before because there's never been anything like this before. It's the first tubular steel roller coaster in the world, and not only is it inside a huge 147-foot man-made mountain, but it's a heck of a lot of fun.
Remain seated, please. permanecer sentados, por favor.
Pretty fun going up that mountain in a bobsled, but I wouldn't want to go up it this way. Of course, Walt Disney, the ultimate showman, couldn't let the ultimate showpiece here go to waste, and so mountain climbers make their way up there almost every day. And although there's a lot of them, they're always called Hans, Otto, or Fritz. Whew, makes me dizzy just watching them up there. I love going back in time and seeing things at Disneyland because back here the trees are so small that everything, including the Matterhorn, looks huge. Back at my own time, the trees are so big, the Matterhorn looks smaller than it actually is. I mean, look how tiny that climber looks up there on the tip. The lesson here is definitely the shorter the trees, the better the illusion. Wow, there must be one heck of a view from up there, and I'd love to see it, but I wouldn't want to climb for it. Oh, there's something more my speed, the all-new Disneyland all-wag monorail. That's another incredible Bob Gurr design over there. And just like the Disneyland Railroad and the Viewliner, it's sponsored by Santa Fe. Wow, see what I mean about all the trees though? Look at the size of that mountain. All right, here comes the monorail into the station. Notice the little pilot up there and the bubble on top. And check out this crazy foil in between the cars. Whoa. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I'd like to welcome you aboard the Disneyland monorail. For your safety during our travel today, please keep your hands and arms inside the cabin and remain seated at all times. Thank you. KC 702, all clear, copy. As we pass overhead on this highway in the sky, you'll notice below us youngsters and adults alike enjoy Tomorrowland's most popular transportation, a drive in a gasoline-powered car over the Autopia Freeway, the futuristic urban roads of tomorrow.
All right, we're passing over the Disneyland motorboat cruise dock down there, and I can't get over how cool looking the monorail is. At one point early on, they were considering having an elevated Viewliner up here, which would have been pretty cool, but I gotta say, I think this final design of Bob Gurr's might be one of the coolest vehicles ever. You can see a couple of motorboats cruising down there and the Fantasyland Junior Autopia. This whole area north of the Matterhorn is really on the move. Man, how crazy is it that they built their own mountain? Riding on the blue monorail was cool, but they also have got this orange monorail. And you can see it coming right now over the motorboat dock, past the Autopia in Fantasyland, making its way around the Matterhorn. I can never decide which monorail train I like more, the blue one or the red one. Most people say red, but standing here, I gotta say, it looks awfully orange to me. And dang it, do I love those tail fins. Off in the distance, you can see the Autopia is still going strong with redesigned cars. But the new star of Tomorrowland has to be General Dynamics' submarine voyage. Under the ocean, highway in the sky, up a Swiss mountain. Amazing the way a few small attractions can totally transform the landscape. Serious Tomorrowland upgrade. Eventually, the monorail track will end up expanding and going all the way outside of the park, right in front of the entrance. And the monorail train will expand with an extra car as well, making it the Mark II monorail. And it gets so popular, they add a third train, the yellow monorail, all of which will eventually travel as far as the Disneyland Hotel, where a second station will be built in 1961. Another change alongside the Autopia is the new Tomorrowland station, opened in 1958. And as you can see, the Autopia cars themselves not only have a totally new design, but the plants and trees have grown up quite a bit. No more barren hillsides along the freeway of tomorrow. The midget Autopia and its bright yellow barn will also be surrounded by a lot more foliage and plants, and Disneyland in general is just getting a lot more green. All right, gang, I think we have time for one more ride on the Skyway to Fantasyland. So let's head up to the station and get a bird's eye look at that new mountain. You can see the sign for the submarine voyage over there saying General Dynamics to the left, the eagle on top of the Autopia sign over here, and those beautiful, colorful, original Von Roll Skyway buckets. To our left as we take off, notice all the people breaking the sound barrier on the Disneyland Astrojet. And look at how colorful Tomorrowland is. I love that. Behind the bucket pole here is the submarine voyage sign that rotates. And then of course to our right, whoa, bucket, the beautiful brand new submarine lagoon. Look at all that coral down there. And wow, look at the bubbles. Amazing to think that's right where the Viewliner station was just last year. Of course, the biggest change on the Skyway is it now passes right through the Matterhorn. Someday when they get rid of it, the rumor will be that the pylon inside the Matterhorn was cracked or damaged, but there is no pylon inside the Matterhorn. The cables are suspended from inside the mountain itself. Heading into Fantasyland over over the snack bar tent down below, you can see around the pirate ship, the whole Skull Rock themed area has been added to the lagoon. Wow, that's a fantastic view of the teacups down there. Once again, the colors are everywhere. Up here's Timothy and his whipping stick in front of the Fantasyland art corner. And that means it's time for us to hop on out. Yeah, we gotta wave goodbye to Fantasyland, and now it's time to say goodbye to the Mickey Mouse Club Theater back there, pass through the castle, and take one long, good look up at the Matterhorn Mountain. Whoa, and actually over here behind me, I totally forgot about the original Carnation Plaza Gardens. Pretty sweet. And anyway, then of course we must turn our gaze back upon Sleeping Beauty Castle one last glorious time and soak up that beautiful Disneyland atmosphere. Because, well, I think that's all the Disneyland time travel that we've got time for today. But don't worry, we will be back to the 50s and 60s at Disneyland again. And next time, I think we might just check out what's going on over in Frontierland. We got 1,000 other episodes on this channel, more than that actually. If you're bored and if you like it, of course you can subscribe, ring the notification bell, do all that stuff. But please, make sure to check out all the links down below, including links to our new store with all of our sick merch. Like this Halloween vehicle magnet, because every day is Halloween when you use magnets. And now if you'll excuse me, I think I'm gonna go place a couple of bets while I'm here. But you have done your duty. You can go home and sleep well.
Yeah, all right, now that's how we dance out here. Ooh, that was a good one. All right, folks, let me tell you now, this here Time Traveler features all the footage from the Randomland archive. With one exception, we'd like to thank Mr. Ken Stack from Stack's Liberty Ranch for the use of this fine image here. You go to StacksLibertyRanch.com. He's working on all kinds of theme park history over there. The rarest of the rare. Good man to support. Good man, that Ken Stack. Good ranch, that Liberty Ranch. And I don't want to rain on y'all's picnic, but y'all ought to check out that store.randomland.com. They got all kinds of neat goodies coming through there. It's pretty awesome. We also had a lot of sounds in here from some old Randomland videos and a few donated by our friends from Fresh Bakes. And you all go down the comment section, the little description, you'll check out that dang old links to everybody and all the thank yous and whatnot. And I guess I'm gonna get back here to eating my barbecue. It's cooked with propane and propane accessories. Not common in the 50s, but we know how to. Wait a minute, y'all sledding on mud? Y'all sledding on mud? What in the world? Y'all sledding on y'all mud sledders? You are. So, all right, we're gonna get down back to the picnic now and spend time with the family. I hope y'all are doing well. We'll see y'all a little bit later in Random Land. Next time y'all dang on time travel.